Welcome to my bronzer and contour collection. We are going to be going over all of these today and seeing what needs to go. These are not the largest categories in my collection, but both of them did actually grow quite a bit in the last year. So let's see how those choices worked out for me. We're going to start out with the bronzers. I'm just going to remove my contour products. Okay, yeah. These are all the bronzers I have in my collection right now. Oh wait, this is not a bronzer. Okay, I started out 2025 with 5 bronzers. I went on to purchase 4 new bronzers in the year 2025, leaving me now with 9 bronzers. I don't know why I felt like I needed 4 new bronzers. And yet here we are. A couple of older products that I think need to go. I have here the Soul Body Face and Body Bronzing Balm in the shade Medium Dark. And I also have the Revolution Ultra Cream Bronzer in the shade Medium. These are both really nice cream bronzers, especially the Revolution one, but I have been pleased with the formula of both of them. However, what I have discovered about myself is that I just prefer a powder bronzer. So given the chance, I'm probably going to end up reaching for a powder bronzer over a cream. Because of that, these have grown old, so it is time to retire both of these. These are the new ones that I purchased this year. These are some oldies, but some goodies. This is my Kiko Milano Flawless Fusion Bronzer Powder in the shade 06. I have hit pan in this because this is a beautiful bronzer, especially in the wintertime. When I first received it and swatched it, I felt like it was a little too golden. I still feel that way looking at this swatch here. It looks like it's gonna pull orange on me, but to my great surprise, this looks lovely. I feel like especially in the wintertime, this works really well for me. In the summer, I do have to build it up, but this is a lovely wintertime option for me and just an all-around fantastic bronzer. I'm gonna keep this one. This is the one I have been working on the most lately. This is the Flower Beauty bronzer in the shade Heat Wave. It is a luminous bronzer. I think it's the only luminous bronzer actually that I own. It's got this lovely pink undertone that I find very flattering on my skin tone. This is just a really, really nice bronzer. It is a shame about the packaging. You can tell the packaging is trashed. The lid is completely gone. I despise these plastic components with the hinge. They all break on me. I have learned that I cannot keep these in a makeup bag. They are just not sturdy enough to withstand the pressure of a makeup bag. The way I have to use it now, I just basically set it in the corner of my vanity and I dip my brush into it and I don't pick it up at all. So you can tell that I have used quite a bit of it that was much more domed. And yeah, I will continue to use and enjoy it and probably eventually finish it up. Beautiful product. Shame about Flower Beauty. They really had some nice things. Okay, and then I have this little mini NARS bronzer in Laguna. This is just a classic, good all-around bronzer. It is a little more on the golden side, so I do feel like it flatters me a bit more in the summertime than it does in the winter when the green in my olive skin tone really comes out to play. But this is a really good solid bronzer and I love this tiny little packaging. It's fabulous to travel with. It takes up almost no space whatsoever. I'm gonna hang on to this one as well. Okay, then these are the new purchases that I made this year. The ones I'm unsure about are these two. This Milani bronzer is my favorite bronzer of all time. I finished one of these back in, I don't think it was last year. I think it was back in 2024 when I finished it up. This is the Milani Silky Matte Bronzer in the shade 02 Sunkissed. Very lovely neutral bronzer. Not too warm or orangey, maybe just like a hint of rosiness in there. Perfect. Everything that I love. Now, did I need to buy it right now? No, I did not. It's actually still in this packaging because I have been spending my time working on these ones over here, but it went on sale on Ulta and I am going to eventually want this back in my life, so I just went ahead and picked it up. Then I picked this one up from Give Me Glow. This is the shade Thong Season, and honestly, you're going to see what the problem is here real quick. This is so deep, so deep. There's just no, it's so deep. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I saw the red undertone and then just underestimated the depth in the swatch online, something like that. But a reddish or a rosy undertone in a bronzer is really very attractive to me because I do find that very flattering on my skin tone, but this is obviously much too deep for me. That said, I think I'm gonna hang on to it. I actually want to franken this with another product we'll look at in a bit. I think the two products together could make something really, really pretty. And I'm curious to see how it will work together. So I'm gonna go ahead and hang on to this, at least for now, for that specific purpose. All right, last we have the NYX Buttermelt Bronzer. I have this in the shade Butter Biscuit. I picked this up in this shade because someone had told me it was a really rosy bronzer. And of course, I just love me a rosy bronzer. The problem with this one is probably also obvious. It is just too deep. It's too deep and it's incredibly pigmented. I'm gonna swatch it here next to, oh my gosh, next to Thong Season. With these two together, they have a very similar depth, just different undertones. You can see how red Thong Season is. This looks downright yellow compared to Thong Season. I'm curious if I swatch Laguna next to it. Obviously, this is much lighter. Okay, there we go. This is the most golden of all three of them. And next to Laguna, you can see a little of the rosiness that's in the NYX. Maybe I should be frankening this one instead of this one. This is just so red. I actually think the two of these together and then combined with a lighter powder, that might be amazing. Okay, I was actually intending on decluttering this one at least, and possibly this one, but I think I'm gonna keep both of them. Okay. This is ridiculous. This is unnecessary. This is unnecessary, but I'm keeping it anyway. I actually think I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I've actually already started. I have mixed a little bit of blue mixer into this. So honestly, at this point, it probably should be considered a contour. That is probably not a bronzer anymore at this point. This is too deep. I should have gone a shade down, but I'm thinking about adding a little bit of concealer in here. I don't know. I guess maybe I'm feeling crafty. Maybe that's what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and play around with all three of these products and see if I can come up with something that's better than what they started as. So I'm really, this is not turning out to be much of a declutter. So I am keeping 7 bronzers, although I think this one probably should be counted as a contour. So 6 bronzers, and I'm getting rid of 2. That's a terrible showing. I'm gonna go ahead and play with these, see what I can make out of them. But if it doesn't turn out or don't end up reaching for the product that I end up with, these will probably go in my next declutter. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's take a look at the contours now. This is also a category that grew quite a bit over the last year. One more. So here are my contours. The only ones that I owned at the beginning of 2025 were these 3. I owned 3 contours, a powder, a cream, and a balm. That's it. And that is a reasonable amount of contour. I don't know why I felt like I then needed to purchase 5 more. And yet here we are. I would defend myself by saying I thought this was going to be a bronzer, but that's not much of a defense given how much my bronzer collection also grew. Anyway, I don't know what came over me. Let's go over these ones first. These are the older ones. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour stick. This is their old one in the shade Mink. This is my favorite contour. I feel like this is the perfect tone for contour on me. This definitely gives a more sculpted look than some of the other contours that I have because it blends out pretty opaque. This does not sheer out in the way that, for instance, the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Contour Wand does. I used up an entire one of the Charlotte Tilbury wand. That one really shears out and is pretty foolproof. I don't find that to be the case with this one. This is pretty full on, and you really don't want to skimp on the blending when it comes to this formula because it is opaque and then it sets down matte and does not budge. I have really come to love this contour stick. You can tell I have almost completely finished it. I worked on this in my 50 Shades of Brown project pan, and now it is rolled into my 50 Shades of Black. I liked this stick so much that when they came out with their new one, my heart sank a little bit. I did not like the sound of the new contour stick. They described it as a radiant contour, and I don't know who wants a radiant contour, but it is not me. I am not interested. So when they came out with their new one, of course, the older one went on sale, and I grabbed one. I grabbed them. A little bit of a panic buy, I admit, but this is my favorite contour and I did not want to be without it. So I bought another one. I think I will probably end up finishing this one up in the next few months. Here's another one that was rolled into my 50 Shades of Brown. It was for a usage goal and I did meet that goal. Honestly, if I used this for another month, maybe 6 weeks, I could finish this up. This is the Salt New York Sculpt and Bronze Cream Tint Pro in the shade Taupe. This is a lovely, very sheer, incredibly natural looking contour. It's this type of contour that you can wear with a no makeup just to add a little bit of definition without looking like you're wearing makeup. If you were wearing nothing on your face and you added this, it would not give the game away. These Salt New York creams are really top notch. They sink into the skin. A sheer layer is pretty much undetectable. It's a really lovely product. You can tell how much I enjoy it by the massive pan there. This is another one I think I'm pretty much on the verge of completing. This one I am not on the verge of completing. I picked this one up from TJ Maxx for I think $5. This is the Sephora Colorful Contour in the shade Second Chance number 35. And this is a powder contour and it is just a little too gray, which is interesting because I have a pretty desaturated skin tone. And so things that are more gray for other people often are just right for me. But this one is just, it's too far in that direction. It is really difficult for me to work with this tone without it just looking dirty on my skin. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this one. We have the rest of my new purchases here. I have 2 more sticks, a liquid and a powder. Let's start with the powder actually. This one I thought was going to be a bronzer, but when I opened it up, I realized it was definitely a contour. I so much prefer this over the Sephora powder that I am decluttering. You can see them next to each other, how gray this one is. I feel like this one is much easier to work with and it's not so deep that it's easy to go overboard. It blends really nicely. I enjoy this one and will be keeping it. Okay, then we've got another stick and a liquid. This is the Tarte Sculpt Tape Contour in the shade Cool Bronze. This actually reminds me a lot of the Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand, and it's not just because of the packaging. This little poofy packaging I actually quite like. This applicator, I know I'm in the minority. The thing that reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury is just how sheer and blendable this is. I do think it's a little bit more opaque than the Charlotte Tilbury, and it also sets down really, really well. I feel like it's more long wearing than the Charlotte Tilbury is because it sets down. So I'm gonna be keeping this one as well. And then we have this one, the Catrice Magic Shaper Contour and Glow Stick. This is what this looks like on me. It is kind of deeper and a little bit rosy. It is not the most blendable thing I have ever experienced, and honestly, I don't have much use for the highlighter side either. This is not the most impressive Catrice product. So for that reason, despite the fact that this is somewhat newer in my collection, I think I'm gonna go ahead and pass this on to a friend. That means we are decluttering 2 and we are keeping 5. Wait, I'm sure I have another one. This is not all of them, is it? I gotta check. I was right. I have one more. This is the Sephora Contour Stick. This is in the shade Light to Medium. I didn't like this at first, to be honest. It is a very slippy formula. When I first started using it, I felt like it really kind of was difficult to control. But after spending some time using the e.l.f. Liquid Contour and Bronzer, I feel like I was able to get the technique right. And so I actually came to really, really enjoy this contour. The tone is quite similar to the Tarte, just maybe a hint cooler. I actually really like this contour. My only complaint about this is I don't like the clear cap. Oh my goodness. The inside of this does tend to get a little bit messy, and I feel like the clear cap just makes it more apparent, but that is my only complaint. Really nice contour. I'm gonna keep this one too. Okay. So that means we have decluttered 2 and we are keeping 6 contour products. I know, okay, that's a little ridiculous. I do not need 6 contour products. That said, I do think I will have both of these 2 finished pretty soon, which will bring me down to 4. And while 4 is more than I need, absolutely more than I need, I think that's a slightly more sane number. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. These are my bronzers and contours. I think we are only decluttering 4 products here. And this is what remains. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. I will see you in the next one. Bye.